Recently, I viewed an 8-part series on Netflix called Taboo. The subject matter was about Nootka Sound, located on Vancouver Island. Nootka Sound was part of the traditional territory of the indigenous Nuu people. Captain James Cook was the first European explorer to set foot on Nootka Sound. That was in March 1778. The absurdity of colonialism, at least in today's context, is highlighted in this series Taboo because the father of the protagonist, James Delaney, held a deed to Nootka Sound in dispute with the East India Company. No mention of the indigenous Nuu people, but that's a topic for another time. Let's go back to Vancouver Island. The 11th biggest island in Canada. It's part of the province of British Columbia, and the capital of British Columbia is Victoria on Vancouver Island, and that's where I live. The provincial parliament buildings were built in 1898 by Francis Rattenbury, and to this day they are a major attraction of Victoria. And now they have become ground zero for COVID-19 anti-mandate protesters. For the last 8 weeks, every Saturday, massive trucker convoy protests around the legislature, blaring horns that we heard clearly from where we live, against provincial health regulations and mandates for COVID. By the way, you're viewing Travels with Lobo, this time not from Thailand, as in the last series of logs, but from my hometown of Victoria. Remember, a vlog is published every Friday. Surprisingly, the Canadian flag has been hijacked by the anti-vaccine protesters. You fly a Canadian flag and everybody thinks you're against the COVID measures. And even the word freedom has been hijacked. Now, Ukraine, that's freedom. This, not so much.
Hey, come on up. We're going to start with Canada. You ready? Hold on a front mark or what?
And there's Dr. Bonnie Henry, our provincial health officer, who generally has done a very good job in controlling COVID throughout this pandemic. But apparently ivermectin was the answer after all. But then there's this headline only 5 days ago: ivermectin doesn't help treat COVID-19. Large study finds. False news, you say? Well, no. And there is the legendary Fairmont Empress Hotel, also built by Francis Rattenbury, after he built the Parliament buildings. And there is the acclaimed Royal BC Museum, which has undergone some tectonic changes in the last little while, subject of my next vlogs. Now, if you look at this scene, there's a distinct lack of trucks, and there's a reason for that, because this is the first weekend that trucks were not allowed in the parliamentary precinct. So this clip was taken a week earlier when there was still noise. So as I said, this weekend, there was no access for trucks into James Bay, the area where the Parliament is located. It's also our neighborhood. This action was precipitated by a rumor that a truck convoy was heading for Victoria to occupy Victoria for weeks. And that's what prompted our Premier, John Horgan, to take this particular action. It also precipitated that famous quote of his, now legendary, where he advised the protesters to go get a hobby. Of course, he was concerned about the trucker convoy encampment in Ottawa, which lasted for about 2 weeks, and which in my opinion was the biggest assault on democracy in Canada since the FLQ crisis in 1970. And that happened in February. On March 11th, Dr. Bonnie Henry, BC's top doctor, repealed all mask mandates for indoor public spaces. April the 8th was named as the end of the province's vaccine passport program. Despite this announcement, this protest took place on March the 12th. Speaking of that vaccine passport, I can understand the frustrations of people who did not get vaccinated because for the last year you haven't been able to get into a restaurant, a hockey game, or many other things. So yes, there is a degree of frustration, but you did choose not to get vaccinated. On another note, were the health mandates for COVID-19 successful in British Columbia? Adjusted on a population basis, only Norway did better. British Columbia's vaccination rate stands at 86%. So about 86% of us bought into the government mandates. The others, freedom, freedom, freedom.
Celebrate as we travel directly by the pollution today while walking. These things are starting to come on the way. I don't know you, but it's really quiet out there. What that means is there is here we go. Here we
Now in the rest of the video, I'm about to show you what the program was, so to speak, of the demonstration, and I would have to say overall it was peaceful. There's no doubt about that. It was peaceful, and that's very important. The entertainment was good. People behaved themselves well, and even though I was not in favor of the protest, you've got to give credit where credit is due.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for My name is Carol Sokola. I'm so pleased that the organizers allowed me to share a song with you. It's a song I wrote when the vax passed. La, 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 haven't we been down this dark road before? Don't we remember just where?
And there on top of the BC Legislature is a statue of Captain Vancouver, who followed Captain Cook. Now, Captain Cook's statue in the Inner Harbor across from the Empress Hotel was torn down during the Every Child Matters protest.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. You know strength is in your mind. We are the warriors. We are the warriors of life. We are the
And their magnitude of facts in quotation marks to support the protests. Have a look. Thank you for viewing this video of this, well, I guess impressive protest that took place in Victoria. Join me next Friday for another interesting story. I don't know what it is, but it'll be there.